One of the hardest parts of my job as a heart and brain health doctor is watching people walk into my office believing they're doing everything right for their health, only to find out that one of their so-called healthy habits is quietly harming them. And when I tell them what's going on, I can see the shock in their eyes. Today, I want to talk to you about something I've seen far too often, especially in my patients in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. It's a vitamin. Yes, a vitamin that you may be taking every single day. It sits there in your kitchen cabinet or medicine organizer, looking harmless, even helpful. You've been told it's good for your bones, your energy, maybe even your immunity. But here's the truth. It could be slowly damaging your heart. Now, I know that's a frightening thought. You've always been told vitamins are safe, even necessary. And many of them are. But in certain cases, too much of the wrong one, or taking it in the wrong way, can quietly raise your risk of heart problems, strokes, and circulation issues without you even realizing it. And for older adults, these risks can appear much faster and with more severe consequences. In this video, I'm going to share exactly which vitamin I'm talking about, the science behind why it can hurt your heart, and the specific signs you need to watch for if you've been taking it. This is not about fear, it's about awareness, so you can protect your health and live with confidence. Before we get started, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell, so you never miss a simple, science-backed health tip, designed especially for older adults like you. If you find this video helpful, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. Your feedback is invaluable and helps me improve these videos for your benefit. Now, let's begin. 1. The vitamin in question, and why it's not as harmless as you think. Let's get right to it. The vitamin I'm talking about is vitamin D, specifically when it's taken in high doses through supplements over a long period of time. Now, before you panic, hear me out. Vitamin D itself is not evil. In fact, your body needs it for bone strength, muscle function, and even immune support. The real problem begins when the amount you're getting goes far beyond what your body can safely handle. This is something I've seen again and again in my practice, especially among older adults who are trying their best to stay healthy. Here's the part most people don't know. Vitamin D is fat-soluble, which means it's stored in your body, not flushed out like water-soluble vitamins. So if you take more than you need, day after day, month after month, it can build up to toxic levels without you realizing it. And when that happens, your calcium levels can rise dangerously high. That extra calcium can harden your arteries, damage your heart valves, and lead to dangerous calcifications in your blood vessels. In plain language, it can make your heart work harder and increase your risk of a heart attack or stroke. I had a patient in her late 70s who came in feeling weak and short of breath. She had been taking a high-dose vitamin D capsule every single day because she heard it was good for bones. She never thought to check her blood levels or adjust her dosage. Her blood calcium was alarmingly high, and tests showed early signs of calcium buildup in her arteries. Thankfully, we caught it in time and reversed the damage, but it was a wake-up call for her, and I hope it's one for you too. The problem is that vitamin D is marketed as completely safe, and doctors sometimes recommend it without making sure patients understand dosage limits. The recommended daily allowance for most older adults is around 800 to 1000 IU. But I see people taking 5000 IU, 10,000 IU, or even more, thinking if a little is good, more must be better. Unfortunately, with vitamins like this, the more is better rule can be deadly wrong. What makes this risk even trickier is that symptoms of vitamin D overdose can be vague at first. Fatigue, nausea, confusion, irregular heartbeat. Most people chalk these up to aging or other health issues, so they keep taking the supplement without realizing it's the culprit. By the time the heart damage shows up clearly, a lot of harm may already be done. If you're taking vitamin D, I want you to do 3 things immediately. First, check the dosage on your supplement label. Make sure it's not way above what's needed for your age and health condition. Second, get your vitamin D and calcium levels checked with a simple blood test, especially if you've been on supplements for months or years. Third, talk to your healthcare provider about whether you really need it year-round, or if you can get enough from safe sun exposure and foods like fatty fish, fortified dairy, and eggs. The truth is, vitamin D is essential in the right amounts but dangerous in excess. And because it's stored in your body, the damage can creep up quietly. Protecting your heart means knowing exactly what you're putting into your body, and remembering that sometimes, less really is more. I always tell my patients, it's not about avoiding vitamins, it's about respecting their power. 2. How excess vitamin D damages your blood vessels and heart over time. When I explain this part to my patients, I often see their eyes widen, because the process is both fascinating and frightening. Let's start with the basics. When you take vitamin D, your body uses it to help absorb calcium from your food and supplements. In normal amounts, this is a good thing. Your bones stay strong, your muscles function properly, and your nerves send signals efficiently. But when your vitamin D levels get too high, the amount of calcium in your blood can rise far beyond what your body can handle. Now, here's the key point. Your body doesn't like extra calcium floating around in your bloodstream. It has to put it somewhere. And unfortunately, it often ends up in the wrong places. Inside your blood vessel walls, in your heart valves, or even in your kidneys. This is called vascular calcification, and it's like turning your soft, flexible arteries into rigid, brittle pipes. Over time, those stiffened arteries make it harder for your heart to pump blood. It's like trying to push water through a garden hose that's turning into concrete. The result: higher blood pressure, reduced circulation to your brain and legs, and an increased risk of a heart attack or stroke. I once treated an 82-year-old gentleman who had been very dedicated to his supplement routine. He took vitamin D, calcium, and several other vitamins every single day. He walked daily, ate fairly well, and thought he was doing everything right. But during a routine checkup, his heart ultrasound revealed calcification in his aortic valve. He didn't have major symptoms yet, just some shortness of breath when climbing stairs, but this was a sign that his heart was already under stress. His vitamin D levels? Nearly double the upper safe limit. The insidious thing about this damage is that you don't feel it happening. There's no warning bell in your chest. The process is slow, and for years you might think you're perfectly healthy. Then one day, you suddenly feel dizzy, fatigued, or develop chest pain, and the underlying damage is revealed. That's why I urge you to be proactive rather than reactive. Another concern is that high vitamin D levels can also upset the balance of other minerals in your body, like magnesium and potassium, both of which are essential for a steady heartbeat and proper muscle function. Too much calcium from excess vitamin D can make your heart rhythm irregular, which is especially dangerous for older adults who may already be at risk of atrial fibrillation or other arrhythmias. If you've been taking high doses of vitamin D for a long time, here's what I recommend. Request a heart scan that can detect calcium deposits, especially if you have a family history of heart disease. Combine that with regular blood work to track vitamin D, calcium, and kidney function. And most importantly, review your entire supplement list with a knowledgeable healthcare provider. Not just the vitamin D, but also any calcium supplements you may be taking alongside it. I want you to think of your blood vessels like the plumbing in an old but well-loved home. If you care for them properly, they'll last for decades. But if they get clogged and hardened with mineral deposits, the flow slows down, the pressure rises, and the system eventually fails. By managing your vitamin D intake wisely, you keep your heart's plumbing smooth, flexible, and flowing freely for years to come. 3. The early warning signs your heart might be reacting to too much vitamin D. One of the most dangerous things about vitamin D overload is that your body often whispers before it shouts. The warning signs can be subtle, easy to dismiss as just getting older, or as side effects of another condition. But these early clues are your body's way of asking you to pay attention before serious heart damage takes hold. Let's start with the most common: persistent fatigue. I'm not talking about the normal tiredness you feel after a busy day or a late night. I mean a deep, ongoing exhaustion that doesn't improve with rest. This can happen because excess vitamin D raises calcium levels, which can interfere with how your heart muscles contract. If your heart isn't pumping efficiently, your whole body feels it, especially your energy levels. Next, there's unexplained muscle weakness. You might notice that tasks you could easily handle, carrying groceries, climbing stairs, or even standing up from a chair, suddenly feel more challenging. This isn't just about muscle strength. It's also about how calcium and magnesium work together for proper muscle contraction and relaxation. Too much calcium in your blood can throw that balance off. Another red flag is irregular heartbeat. You might feel your heart fluttering, pounding, or skipping beats. Even if it happens only occasionally, this is not something to ignore, especially if you're in your 70s or 80s. Changes in heart rhythm can be triggered by mineral imbalances caused by high vitamin D intake, and they can increase your risk of more serious cardiac events. Increased thirst and frequent urination are also worth noting. These happen because excess calcium strains your kidneys, forcing them to work overtime to filter it out. The extra stress on your kidneys can indirectly affect your heart health as well, because your fluid balance and blood pressure regulation depend heavily on healthy kidney function. Some people experience nausea, loss of appetite, or digestive discomfort. You might think this is just a stomach bug or food intolerance, but it can be your body's way of saying your calcium levels are too high. If your gut feels unsettled and you can't pinpoint why, and you're taking high-dose vitamin D, it's worth getting checked. One of the trickiest signs is mild but consistent shortness of breath. It's easy to blame on aging, being out of shape, or even allergies. But in some cases, it's the early effect of calcification in your arteries or valves, making it harder for your heart to deliver oxygen efficiently. I remember a patient in her late 60s who came in complaining of just feeling off. She described light dizziness when standing up, occasional heart flutters, and feeling unusually thirsty. On paper, her blood pressure was okay, but her blood tests showed high vitamin D and calcium levels. A scan later confirmed early calcification in her coronary arteries. She didn't need medication yet, just immediate changes to her supplement routine. We caught it early, and she's doing wonderfully now. If you recognize any of these symptoms, don't ignore them. Get your vitamin D and calcium levels tested. Keep track of when the symptoms occur. Are they after you take your supplement? Do they get worse over time? Share these details with your healthcare provider. Your heart is an incredible organ, but it can only adapt for so long. By listening to its early whispers, you can avoid hearing its cries for help later. Remember, prevention is far easier and far less frightening than repair. 4. Safe vitamin D habits for seniors to protect your heart without missing its benefits. Now that we've talked about the risks, I want to be very clear. Vitamin D is not your enemy. In the right amount, it's one of the most important nutrients for healthy aging. It supports strong bones, helps your immune system fight infections, and even plays a role in mood regulation. The real key is balance. I always tell my patients, it's not about avoiding vitamins, it's about using them wisely, like a tool, not a toy. The first safe habit is know your numbers. Before you start or change any vitamin D supplement, get a blood test to see your current level. For most older adults, an optimal range is around 30 to 50 nanograms per milliliter. Anything much higher can start tipping into risk territory, especially over 80 nanograms per milliliter. Testing once or twice a year is usually enough unless your doctor is actively adjusting your dose. The second habit is stick to a safe daily dose. For most seniors, 800 to 1000 IU per day is enough. Some people may need a bit more if they have very low levels, but this should only be done under medical supervision. Avoid the temptation to take megadoses unless specifically prescribed for a short period and closely monitored. Remember, vitamin D is fat-soluble. Once it's in your body, it sticks around. The third habit is get vitamin D from natural sources whenever possible. Short periods of sun exposure, about 10 to 20 minutes on your arms and face a few times a week, can help your body make its own vitamin D. If you live somewhere with limited sunlight, you can also add foods like fatty fish, salmon, sardines, mackerel, fortified dairy, eggs, and mushrooms to your diet. These natural sources come with other nutrients that work together to keep your body balanced. The fourth habit is balance your minerals. If you're taking vitamin D, make sure you're also getting enough magnesium, vitamin K2, and potassium. Magnesium helps your body use vitamin D properly, Vitamin K2 directs calcium to your bones instead of your arteries, and potassium supports healthy blood pressure. This is one reason why getting nutrients from food is often safer than high-dose supplements. You get the whole package, not just one isolated ingredient. The fifth habit is check your entire supplement list. Many people don't realize they're stacking vitamin D from multiple sources. One from a multivitamin, another from a calcium plus D supplement, and maybe even a third from a fortified drink or powder. When you add them all together, your daily intake can be much higher than you think. Keep a list and total it up so there are no surprises. Lastly, listen to your body. If you start noticing the early warning signs we talked about, fatigue, irregular heartbeat, muscle weakness, unusual thirst, don't brush them aside. These could be your first clue that your vitamin D intake needs to be adjusted. I once had a patient in his early 70s who proudly told me he never missed a day of his supplements. He was taking vitamin D from 3 different bottles without realizing it. His blood level was almost double the safe limit. We reduced his dose, adjusted his diet, and within a few weeks his energy improved, his heartbeat steadied, and he felt 10 years younger. The goal isn't to fear vitamin D, it's to respect it. By staying informed, keeping your dosage in check, and combining supplements with natural sources, you can enjoy the benefits without putting your heart at risk. 5. A step-by-step action plan if you think you may be taking too much vitamin D. If you're sitting there wondering, could I be one of those people overdoing vitamin D? You're not alone. Many seniors don't even realize they're taking more than they need until symptoms or test results reveal it. The good news is, it's never too late to make a safe course correction. Here's the action plan I give to my own patients. Step 1. Gather every supplement you take. This includes multivitamins, individual vitamin D bottles, calcium with added D, fortified powders, and even protein shakes or nutrition drinks. Look closely at each label and find the amount of vitamin D per serving. Don't forget to check how many servings you actually take each day. It's easy to overlook that a scoop or pill might be double what you thought. Write the numbers down and add them up. Step 2. Compare your total to the safe range. For most older adults, the recommended daily intake is 800 to 1000 IU. The safe upper limit is generally considered around 4000 IU for long-term use, but that doesn't mean everyone should be taking that much. If your total is way above this, especially if you're taking over 5000 IU without medical supervision, it's time to adjust. Step 3. Book a simple blood test. Ask your healthcare provider for a vitamin D level test, as well as calcium, magnesium, and kidney function. This will tell you exactly where you stand and whether your body has been accumulating too much. These tests are quick, inexpensive, and incredibly revealing. Step 4. Adjust your dose gradually. If your levels are too high, don't stop cold turkey unless your doctor advises it. In some cases, a gradual reduction is safer, especially if your body has been accustomed to large doses for months or years. Your provider can help set a safe tapering plan. Step 5. Support your body's recovery. If you've been taking too much vitamin D, focus on foods that support heart and kidney health. Hydration is key. Drink plenty of water to help your kidneys flush excess calcium. Include magnesium-rich foods like leafy greens, nuts, and seeds. Consider adding vitamin K2-rich foods like natto, aged cheese, or certain supplements, with guidance, to help direct calcium away from your arteries and into your bones. Step 6. Watch for changes in how you feel. Over the next few weeks, pay attention to energy levels, heartbeat regularity, muscle strength, and any changes in thirst or digestion. Improvement in these areas is often a good sign that your body is returning to balance. Step 7. Retest regularly. Once you've adjusted your dose, check your vitamin D and calcium levels again in 3 to 6 months. This ensures you're staying in the healthy range and not slipping back into excess. Remember, supplementation needs can change with the seasons. What you need in the winter might be too much in the summer if you're getting more sun. One of my patients, a 76-year-old retired teacher, followed this plan after discovering she'd been taking 10,000 IU daily for over a year. She didn't feel terrible, just off. Her blood tests showed dangerously high vitamin D and calcium. We reduced a dose, focused on food-based sources, and within 2 months she felt lighter, less fatigued, and her heart rhythm returned to normal. She told me she wished she'd known sooner, but she was grateful she acted before serious damage occurred. The most important thing to remember is this. Vitamin D is powerful medicine in the right dose, but like any medicine, it must be used wisely. Taking charge of your intake now can protect your heart for years to come. I know this has been a lot to take in, especially if you've been taking vitamin D for years thinking it could only help you. Please don't walk away from this video feeling scared. Walk away feeling empowered. The truth is, most people can enjoy all the benefits of vitamin D without putting their heart at risk, simply by knowing their numbers, choosing the right dose, and listening to their body. As we've talked about, the problem isn't vitamin D itself, it's too much of it, taken for too long, without awareness. The heart is an incredibly resilient organ, but it thrives best when we give it balance. You deserve to enjoy your retirement years with energy, strong circulation, and confidence that you're making choices that keep you active and independent for as long as possible. If you've been wondering whether your vitamin D routine is safe, let this be the moment you take action. Check your supplements, talk to your healthcare provider, and get that simple blood test. It's a small step that could prevent years of silent damage. And if you discover your levels are too high, remember, you can fix it. Your body can recover, your arteries can be protected, and your heart can keep beating strong for many years to come. I often tell my patients, the goal of healthy aging is not just to live longer, it's to live better. That means being able to take a walk without getting winded, enjoying time with your grandchildren without feeling drained, and waking up each day knowing your choices are supporting your body, not working against it. So here's my challenge to you. This week, review your vitamin D intake. Be honest about what you're taking and how much. Then make adjustments that put your heart health first. It's a simple act of self-care that can have a lifelong impact. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If you found this helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to Zenior Life, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a science-backed tip designed especially for older adults like you. And if you want to learn about other hidden habits that might be harming your heart, click on the video you see here on your screen. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.